How do you measure your creative success? Well, at the moment it's award season, especially within the film industry, and so there's lots of recognition happening for some incredible creative work that's been carried out in the past 12 months. And it got me thinking about this idea of intrinsic and extrinsic rewards for creative endeavors. And my take on this is that you measure the success that you have as a creative by the dedication to your craft and to your art as a creative, and not to the hits and misses that may come. And you frankly often will have no say over whether those things will happen. What you are able to have some kind of control over is your commitment to your craft and your art. And the question I would ask yourself, and if you want to kind of measure your level of commitment to the creative work you're doing, is if you were sure that you would never receive any awards, any accolades for the creative work you do, would you still do it? If you were sure that you could never make a living, make a financial living, and you always had to do something else in order to pay for the creative work, would you still do that thing? If you say no to those things, then you probably have to ask yourself the question, is the creative work that I believe my life is about, is that really the case? Or maybe you have to adjust it in some way. And the other thing that got me thinking about this the other day was I was reading a great book by Elizabeth Gilbert, the writer of Eat, Pray, Love, who wrote a book called Big Magic. It's all about creativity, and I highly recommend the book. And in it she spoke about going and seeing a very famous journalist and writer who was talking to a group, and someone put up their hand and said, I'm the same age, and he was talking to the writer, I'm the same age as you, we've gone through the same training, at the same time, I've worked every bit as hard as you, I'm sure, in terms of my writing, but I've never had any success. What advice would you give me? And the writer stops and he thinks for a minute, and he said, well, I'm not going to say to you, you should persist. I would say, give up now. And then there was some drawn breaths in the room, and he paused for a moment more and he said, but if you find after a year that you start wanting to do that work, you just cannot stay away from writing, you cannot stay away from this creative thing within you, and you have to get it out, and you have to express it, then you're a writer. And so we can think about the same thing whether you're as an entrepreneur or as a musician or a designer or as an artist or writer, whatever the thing is. You have to have a commitment and a dedication to both the craft and the art of what you do, regardless of whether you're going to see any rewards. Because as we all know, even these big awards, sometimes they're not won by the people that maybe have done the greatest creative work. There's a lot of politics that are involved as well. So that's something to ask yourself. Think about that. Think about whether, if you would never receive any accolades, any awards for the work you do, would you still do it? And in that way, if you have the hits and the misses, you can treat those two imposters just the same. Thanks for watching. Hi, it's James here. Did you enjoy that episode? If so, there's two things that we can do to continue the journey together. Firstly, I would love if you to subscribe, give us 5 stars and leave a comment. Secondly, if you go to jamestaylor.me and enter your name and email address, I'm going to send you some free goodies all around creativity and innovation. Look forward to continuing the journey together.